am Joe.
And I'm Cocoy.
Together we are.
TITOS with Ukuleles.
First of all, shout out to our Facebook group, Ukulele Lovers
Yay,
Facebook
we
group.
love ukuleles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're doing this review simply because of this little thing here. Okay. Quick story. I bought some smoked salmon. It came in a wooden box. My family, we ate the salmon. Then I turned over the box to Cocoy, and I challenged him. Can you make a ukulele out of this or something? And yeah, he did. And we now ended up with this. This is a concert-sized box ukulele. What do you call it?
Okay, I named my ukulele, so this one is Salome. So let's meet Salome, the salmon ukulele.
Yes. Now, there was interest in our Facebook group. They complimented it. And some of the members of Ukulele Lovers Facebook group were saying, how does it sound like? So, let's jump to the sound sample right away.
Yes. So Joe, how was your dinner?
Well, I got the salmon, mix it with the salad. It was okay, so salmon. Really, I bought it more for the box.
Well, that's good because when you challenged me to do this, it's actually one of those things that it's good for the environment when you recycle material, right? This box, I mean, why not recycle? Everybody was telling us how good this box looks. Now we want to go buy more, right? More salmon.
Yeah.
And
Now, okay, I recognize this. This is the lid of the box.
yes, and you notice that suddenly it's bigger salmon.
Yeah, it's a bigger salmon. The original box was about half.
Yes. Well, of course, because the original box was a sliding box. That's something that you can't really make into a ukulele. It would have been interesting and challenging, but there was no space to put anything on the inside. So what I did is I took another box that I just had readily available, a Bible box, and slapped this on. Now, when you slap something on, one thing you might notice in the sound samples that when you play it, it sounds weak on its own. And when I put the piezo, that's when it sounds better, right? Because what I did is to design this. Because if I had used the lid that you did, if I just used the normal lid, I felt that you will probably have issues with how much it will bend in time because it's kind of a thin wood. So what I did is to put it on the base of the Bible box, which already had a top wood. So that is technically called a cap. When you put it on a base wood, that's called a cap. It's not a veneer, it's a cap. So it's like also putting a pick guard, but because it takes up the whole space, which means that's why it's kind of thick on the top.
Okay, now you put in here a passive.
Yes,
Pickup
the
system?
passive piezo that I put here is because visually it's not so good if you put something and you have to put another hole here for the preamp. Plus, this also makes it easier just to plug in, right? I mean, technically, this actually opens up so you can actually put things inside, right?
See,
That's
that
it.
neat.
That's how simple the preamp is. There's no preamp. And again, normally I don't suggest the preamps because after a few years, those things break, right?
Okay, so I noticed a few things. Number one, most bridges, they're just glued in place. I know a few that they're screwed in. This one is screwed in. This is in concert in scale.
Yes, it's a concert ukulele. Oh, so what I did was because you challenged me, I didn't also want to spend too much on a challenge, right? I mean, it's something like your challenge to make a ukulele that's within in a way budget, right? So it's like if we watch our DIY you build, this is like it. I just had to buy the kit, which came with the neck, the tuners, the bridge, which is actually pretty nice. It's actually real wood. You just have to sand it into shape. Then I put it together with the Bible box and your cap, which I think applied nicely.
Yeah,
Now,
Cocoy is not gonna spend on this because when I issued the challenge, there was no money involved. It wasn't a bet.
well, yes, although we could in future episodes. Now, one thing you might notice is that if you look on the inside, there you go. There are actually screws that actually reinforced it. So I did glue all the parts in. Don't worry, it's still glue. But to make sure it holds in place, I usually also use screws, which takes care of some techniques are like using dowels where you have wood pegs. On the bridge, I did put the screw because normally things would rip out. Secondly, because this is a cap which is glued on top, it's also best to have these two parts screwed on.
Okay.
So that it also is more stable that way.
Now you told me something. You cut off part of the
Yes,
fretboard.
one thing you might notice is that this is no longer your standard fret board. Well, for one thing, because that will cover the fish design. Secondly, how many of our ukulele lovers out there actually reached up to here, right? We will play here. We'll play the cowboy chords.
I'll be honest. I hardly go beyond the 5th fret.
Yes. However, you might notice that the action is not bad. I mean, technically a ukulele is just simple point A to point B. In this case, I think it really just renders itself nicely on this flat surface. That's why usually there would be no problem with action, except when you're putting a piezo, which is what happened here. Is that I had to file down notches for the strings to put in place. Some people might be against that, but that also helps the stability. But also because this technical bridge that came with it did not have enough depth. So on the channel, when I put the bar piezo, the saddles will not hold. That's why I had to put a notch for it to actually bring it down.
Okay, so the neck, the tuners, the string, the nut, bridge, saddle were all part from a same kit.
Yes, and the nice thing about that kit, it seems like it's all real wood. Like when I sanded this down and cut the fretboard, it was real wood, which means I can also recycle the I feel it was rosewood or some. It's not like those synthetic boards that you find these days. So this is actually a pretty nice
At least
kit.
it wasn't plastic.
It's not plastic. So if you are wondering, the salmon, I don't know the cost of the salmon, but that's the cost of your dinner. But putting this together will just bring you roughly in the range of like $40.
Okay, so
Without my labor, of course.
okay, so the salmon, I got it on discount, little under $10.
Yeah, then you have the pine box, which is like about another $8 there. Then you have the neck kit, which is another $15 to $20 depending on where you are. But again, this is real wood kit. So it is actually nice. You'd find it in a lot of your Temu, Amazon, or whatever online you might find. You just make sure that you choose the size, the soprano, the concert, or the tenor.
One of the improvements I'd like to see on this is maybe a strap button, right?
Oh yes, yes. Again, for those people in our forums, yeah, a lot of people are wondering if putting strap buttons on ukuleles are safe. Well, in this case, because this is supposed to be a rocking hillbilly, what you call a cigar box type instrument, you can actually put the strap button over here, which is safe because one thing you may notice, that's one of the reasons why the sound is weak, is this is technically a semi-hollow body because it's not hollow enough to sound hollow, but the walls of the wood is practically thick. All right, which is also why the piezo renders well, like a electric acoustic ukulele. Now with this kind of wood, I feel that the problem with people putting screws on here in the bottom is that if you angle it improperly, people are afraid it might crack the wood. Now, for this kind of neck that you have two pieces, you just make sure you avoid the seam, right? But normally they could take, if you first drill, make sure you drill before you put the hole and drill it sort of at a certain angle. Just think of it as you try to imagine as much chunk of wood that the strap will hold on to.
I have a question. So, would it help if you put in a sound hole here?
Yes, it would help you. Ukuleles with sound hole on the top are kind of aimed at the person, right? So unless you're kind of playing that way, but you did notice in the sound sample that when you're putting it up against you, it will sound weak. Then you move it up, yeah, it sounds louder. Like, yeah, your belly is your soundboard, and it doesn't help, right? So when you put a sound hole on top, it's just gonna direct the sound to you. It's not much gonna direct the sound to the others. There is an interesting upgrade to this, but the problem is because it's on cap, that means the wood is doubled. Just imagine the normal soundboard, imagine twice for the thickness. Now, another option here is to actually put holes here. Like in the future, I could put holes in the ribs of the rib cages, right? But because it's thick, again, the resonance is not expected for normal ukulele playing. So this is really an instrument that should be played plugged in, and for silent practices at night. Yes.
I wish I'd made it a tenor.
The problem is, and I think the problem also with other regions, is that they don't usually make tenor necks, right? When you buy a kit, it's so hard to find the tenor neck. One other factor is that your scale length. Okay, if I would have made this into tenor, I would have had the bigger box, which would not accommodate. Plus, I think, based on how I designed it, look how the bridge is nicely hidden or in between the fins, right? If it were a tenor, it would have been somewhere else, right? So it's because of the size of the box. Now, unless you get another bigger salmon with a similar box. But that means that for you guys out there, you do watch that episode we did on the DIY, because if you do decide to make your own cigar box, you can just get anything. My suggestion is like pine wood or basswood boxes. Yeah.
When he says anything, you've made Cocoy makes guitars, and
I make guitars.
He's made guitars out of
chopping boards, from
hubcaps.
Yeah, hubcaps.
Burnt piece of wood.
Yeah, stuff like that. And now I think this is one of my better builds.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is something I probably don't intend to sell, because I would encourage people who want one to make your own. And with this kind of kit, you just need, the basic stuff. So yeah. So again, in summary, do you like your challenge?
Yes. And we shall think of more stuff to challenge you with.
Yeah. Now I challenge you to find a bigger salmon for that. Well, thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank you for our friends at Ukulele Lovers, because you actually inspire us to continue being in this in our hobby/work.
Hey guys, we need your likes, we need your subs. Really keeps us going.
Yes, and send the salmon over.